Well, I would say, I mean, there's two things at play there. Number one is, I mean, like it or not, there is a gun culture in our country. I mean, we have the Second Amendment. We're the only country in the world that, in our Constitution, gives people the right to have guns. Okay, I mean that's just that's just in our culture. But also, we're the only country that has the NRA. And what we see also in a lot of the marketing that the NRA does is, especially a lot of it's geared towards men, and there is sort of this idea that if you are a man and you are a husband and a father and you're not carrying a gun ready to protect your family at any moment, then you're not much of a man, you know? Mm-hmm. And I'm not a man, so I don't know, but my feeling is that men oftentimes respond to that. It's sort of like, you know, being called like, you know, like you're not man enough or you're not a true man. And so there's sort of this response of like, well, I am a man, and look, I got this gun to prove it.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. It's right. to lead a weapon on the campus is no. It's dangerous and unnecessary. Yeah, it's very difficult. You need 2 licenses, and 1 license just allow you to lead a weapon and not to shoot, and the other license allow you to shoot and not to lead.
Okay.
It's a kind of it's weird, but yeah, that makes it safer for. No, that's weird for us.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's.
Yeah. Just a hunter should shoot for. Yeah, for the population of animals, for example, or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
And just for fun shooting, it's not good. That brings the level of how to explain. Yeah, I want to shoot someone, but I mean I can't do it because I'm afraid or something about this. But if you shoot for free or just for fun, the level that you are angry about it, or are you afraid about it, goes low and low. You know.
Right.
What I mean?
Yeah. Right.
So my roommate was in the library when the gunman came to Florida State. When he heard the gunshots, at first he went out the fire escape. Then when he got to the fire escape, he was gonna go now through the main entrance, but someone pushed him out of the emergency exit to the side that he didn't see. And he told me that if he would have gone out of the main entrance, he would have been right next to the shooter when cops unloaded 27 rounds into him.
The school shooting here at Tech scared a lot of people and caused them to speak out against guns.
You know, we're living in a time now where we are seeing even law enforcement in situations where I think after an incident occurs that we all can see certain situations where maybe law enforcement has not made the best decision in the heat of a moment. Law enforcement is vetted. They undergo psychological training. They go through training to become a cop. They go through ongoing training on how to de-escalate issues, how to handle a multitude of situations. And even with that training, we see that sometimes in the heat of a moment, even a law enforcement officer might make a mistake, right? And following that logic, I find it's frightening to think that just somebody who maybe has gone through an 8-hour carry permit class is going to have the wherewithal in the heat of a moment, of a high pressure moment, to know what to do. And what also I think is relevant to bring up is campus shootings, although they do happen with alarming regularity in our country, statistically in the whole world of gun violence, they're still statistically very low. Okay, So they don't happen very often on college campuses. But what does happen on college campuses a lot, and I can say this as someone who was on a college campus for 5 years, many years ago, when I was in school, what does happen on college campuses is people drink too much, people have parties, people want to come into the party, people don't want people to come into the party, there are fights. People are under a lot of pressure, especially at a school where, a school like Vanderbilt, for example, where there's a lot of academic pressure. People are highly strung, worried about that kind of thing. People break up with people. And, with all due respect, people in their 20s are still developing. I would like to see us as a country implement expanded background checks for all gun purchases. Would that put an end to gun violence? No, it wouldn't. Would it reduce it? It would, and we have proof that shows that. The Brady campaign has data that shows that states that have implemented expanded background checks have seen, 40+ percentage point drops in suicides, women murdered by men, and murder of law enforcement in the line of duty. So we definitely would like to see expanded background checks. For me personally, another thing that I'm really interested in is legislation called gun violence restraining orders. And the way those work is they allow, and different states write them different ways, and this is sort of a newer piece of legislation, so a lot of people are really not even very informed about it. But the way it works is it applies to immediate family members and law enforcement only, okay? And what it says is that if you're my son and I have concerns about you, you're saying things that I think are disturbing, you're making some kind of idle threats, you're just, you're acting emotionally unstable, and I know you have a lot of firearms, that I, as an immediate family member, could petition a judge and say to them, my son, I have concerns that he's an imminent danger to himself or others. And there would be certain criteria that I would present, and the judge would evaluate based on that criteria. And if he agreed, then what he would do is issue a temporary firearm restraining order on you, which would mean that you would temporarily be put on a prohibited purchasers list and be unable to buy guns and ammunition, and law enforcement would be able to go to your home and temporarily remove all the firearms from your home. Now, we would also want something in the bill that would have a penalty if I falsely accused you of that, and it was shown that I just sort of trumped that up because I was mad at you or whatever, that I could be charged with some type of misdemeanor, some kind of falsifying information. And then the other thing too is that even if I file that, even if the judge agrees with me, you would still be able to go to the judge and say, hey judge, listen, my mom she overreacts, yes, I'm very loud and I'm opinionated, but I would never hurt anyone, and the judge can make a determination to remove the protective order if he chose to.